Okay, so this time we focus on about ICT, no, ICT infrastructure and connectivity in our country. As of course, last update on January 2022, no, the Philippines has been actively working to improve its ICT infrastructure and connectivity to support e-governance initiative, promote economic growth, and enhance digital inclusion. There are some key aspects of ICT infrastructure and connectivity in our country. Of course, the internet connectivity, mobile connectivity, national broadband plan. We have free Wi-Fi program, no ICT hubs in zones, submarine cable system, and government ICT initiative. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead, sir.
So thank you very much, sir, for the introduction. Good afternoon, classmates. Today, I am tasked to present to you the Module 2 of our course in e-governance for development administration, particularly on ICT's infrastructure and connectivity in the Philippines. So let us look briefer on the Philippine ICT situation. The deployment of information and communication technology networks particularly in least developed countries and developing nations like the Philippines remains a challenge, no, due to a multitude of factors. So this includes one, there's high cost to deploy the network. So here in the Philippines, we also have limited network providers, no. So to date, we still only have three major networks. It's, now Globe, Smart, and PLDT through the PLDT group of companies, and the DTO is the third player. No, it's very costly to deploy a new network or to deploy a new network infrastructure. No, second, there may be small population or market size, and making it this difficult to exploit economies, no, of scale. And lastly, there's insufficient government policies and regulations, as well as an overall stability. According to the network in ICT framework from the government, they've identified possible facets of gaps between demographics and regions that have access to modern information and communication technology. So what are these? One, there's inadequate skills and mismatch of competencies, particularly for most of the providers, and not only the providers, up to the stakeholders. No? Second, the high cost of access, no? When you provide network access and the devices to be used na gagamitin mo ang access ng internet. And third, there are disaggregated platforms. There are actually many platforms, no? When we develop programs, ang dami-daming platforms, and at each platform, there are platforms which cannot be interoperable. So different apps and services are developed through different platforms. Therefore, yung data na nilalaman noon or nakukuha natin, which we are able to generate or which we are able to publish, no, hindi sila nakakapag operate, interoperate, no? So you need a different platform for this to access this or to open this. You have different languages probably, no? And there's lack of infrastructure, no? Though may mga infrastructure tayo, there's still some sectors in which our ICT lacks the infrastructure, or this is yung kabuuan. How does a system develop, no? Of course, there are processes for this, and these are your infrastructure, no? Aside from the infrastructure, yung infrastructure kasi these are the equipments, and the infrastructure is how do you arrive or how do you make internet operable, no? And lastly, there may be outdated standards, regulations, and policies. Okay, so looking here in this slide, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, being the primary policy, planning, coordinating, and implementing, and of course the administrative entity of the executive branch of the government, who plans, develops, and promotes the national ICT development agenda. They do not seek only to more substantially engage and provide for meaningful participation, by a more diverse array of stakeholders, but they also foster inclusive, bottom-up initiatives by encouraging stakeholders to set the agenda, projects, and goals of the nation's new digital strategy. No? The National ICT Ecosystem Framework, or the NICTEF, was then envisioned to contribute to the realization of an equitable, inclusive, and sustainable development for the nation, with ongoing reviews and updates driven by inputs from our stakeholders. No? So this is the figure na the framework that was included or part of doon sa ating NICTEF. No? So makikita natin yung core. So we see the legend, no, nandyan sa gitna. We do have the core principles here. One is enabling sustainable ICT environment and improved public links and connectivity. We have the industry and countryside development. Next, we have the ICT user protection and information security. And these were discussed vividly kanina dun sa mga previous presenters, no? Resource sharing and capacity building through ICT and participatory e-governance. And of course, the next ring is our stakeholders, the technical community, the business, the civil societies, the government, and the academe working together to achieve this, no? And we have the enablers. Ano ba itong mga to? Sharing resources for human capital, talents, and skills, for example. Provide affordable access and affordable devices. No? Ito pa, provide infrastructure. And then particularly for the government, no? Set standards, regulations, and policies. But though the government, no, sila yung gumagawa ng mga batas, regulasyon, at mga polisiya, the government engages the stakeholders, no, the different business groups, the community mismo, kung sinong gumagamit, other civil societies, and even the academe, particularly for researches, no, platforms for applications of content and data, and all this for we want to have an equitable, inclusive, and sustainable development for better ICT infrastructure in the Philippines through enabling trends and technologies. So the next slides here, we see yung common infrastructure, ICT, no, in the Philippines. So infrastructure for information and communication technologies should continue to be one of the primary areas of attention if the goal is to bring everyone online by the year, hindi na nakalagay, no, year 2030. So ICTs have the potential to assist nations in leapfrogging over persistent development obstacles in a variety of domains. So making organizations more effective and productive. For example, developments in our healthcare. No, kasi of course I'm in the healthcare industry. We are now able to conduct surgeries, no, remote surgeries kahit wala yung surgeon. They are able to provide surgical services which are remote. Wala physical doon yung surgeons. And I know some of you may probably heard of this, no, yung robotics, no. And that for us to achieve that kind of innovation, medyo complicated or medyo complex yung ICT technology, the process behind this. Okay? So let us move on to some potential interventions for the previously identified problems. No? So first intervention is there should be active and passive infrastructures sharing. So by utilizing yung another network's resources, so makikihiram, we have to share, no? Because sharing is really important, no? Importante yan. Because for example, no, I need something which I do not have pero meron yung isang tao, isang bagay, it's okay to share. It's actually for the ICT community, network sharing is or infrastructure, either active or passive infrastructure sharing is important, no? Like yung mga cell sites natin, pwedeng na yung nagpatayo na other companies, but they may be sharing this with other companies as well, no? So by utilizing one another's network resources, for example, yung wireline, yung mga poste, no, or wireless connectivities, through backhaul, spectrum, or fiber networks across several sites, no, we can reduce the cost of building networks. And because of this, the deployment of the infrastructure may become more economically viable. So, ano ba yung backhaul, no? Just a definition to define yung backhaul. It's a set of copper, fiber, or wireless links that connect the core or backbone of networks with smaller sub networks. Yung spectrum naman are like frequencies, usually electromagnetic frequencies or spectrum, which are propagated through space at different radio frequencies using radio telecommunications equipment. No? So yung fiber internet, alam naman na siguro natin, we're familiar with fiber internet technology. So this is the most innovative connectivity and most widely used connectivity probably today. Baka in the next future, in the next 10 years, mapalitan na yan. No? It boasts higher bandwidth, which translates to higher internet speed. Unlike yung DSL dati, no, fiber connection allows symmetric connectivity. No? It lets you download and upload files at the same time without loss in bandwidth. Oh, okay. For business case, we should tap yung ating private sectors because but dapat din there's greater financial returns by private sectors in the ICT investment market, no? Through, of course, the initiation of the government, implementation of policies, nagbibigay din dapat ng subsidies, but meron tayo dapat sinusunod na standard operating procedures and universal service obligations and best practices, no? So, and of course, there should be social return and social development. So when the obligation falls upon the government, of course, we rely that the government is relied upon to address the obligation for enabling access to ICT. No, so dati as a background, no, nung mga 1980s pa, for example, yung liberalization in the United Kingdom through their British Telecom, ang demand ng government noon ay there's partnership with British Telecom, but of course, the government's obligations started getting addressed through the internal industry cross subsidies and through mandates, no, and regulations. So ang ginawa naman ng telco, they provided community phones in underserved towns and villages. No, though malaki yung revenue na provide nila, this is just a small fraction of kinikita nila. No, so malaki yung return na nakuha ng British Telecom by just simply providing community phone, no? Hindi pa ito sa mga bahay-bahay, just community phones in underserved towns and villages para merong access ng telecommunication. But now it's different, no? Hindi na lang tayo telecommunication, but we're geared towards video calls, no? And meron na ngayon yung mga other technologies which enables, no, very clear messaging systems. And anyways, in the Philippines, meron din initiative dyan as to social return and sustainable development. The PLDT and SMART group of companies, the pioneer telco members of ito naman yung Gender Equality Business Coalition. So we can see this through this link and provide further readings. No? And next, possible intervention. So there should be faster and more economical development. No, when we say faster and more economical development, we mean the process of obtaining universal connectivity and to make it possible for the ecosystem to expand at a faster rate at a more affordable cost. No, and this one, data network and infrastructure mapping. Why is this important? No, in terms of economy, kasi kapag you have a network infrastructure map or network infrastructure map, no, or say network coverage, for example, saan magde-deploy or saan natin i-prioritize yung areas na lalagyan pa natin ng cell sites, for example, no? So the importance of data and network infrastructure mapping enables us, no, to detect white spaces and prioritize areas with poor network coverage. No, it is also vital for both public and private entities to share information with one another in order to bring synergies. Now, there may be information from the government, or there may be information from the private sector, which are useful for both. No? So we have to share this information para mas mapadali yung buhay natin. No? At yung pag-deploy ng network infrastructure, for example, is more faster. We want to have a faster and more economical deployment. And share disaggregated data for planning purposes. For the purpose of formulating national goals and developing plans for the efficient rollout of network deployment, disaggregated data can be made available by either parties. But through my experience, for disaggregated data, actually, though ang nagiging hadlang kasi dito, na-discuss yung Data Privacy Act kanina, hindi lahat ng disaggregated data ay nasi-share even through or even in between government to government, no? There are some data from the ICT which a bit tedious, no? If you want to get the disaggregated data. Pero possible nakukuha siya, but it's a bit tedious, no? So though we want faster and more economical deployment of this ICT or even data infrastructure, no, nagkakaroon pa rin ng barrier. So that's just a personal experience. I'm saying this kasi yung mga CBMS data natin, no, hindi agad-agad siya nakukuha, or it's an LGU pa, no, na buo na kailangan. Though there is the data already available, nandun na yung raw data. Still, we have problems getting that data. So streamlining processes, supporting wireless and wireless communication, um, communication networks, and making sufficient spectrum for ICT technologies, both for terrestrial, so nandyan sa yung land-based na mga ICT equipments, no, and or space-based equipments, are significant steps to accelerate deployment in cost-effective manner. So hindi na lang ngayon terrestrial or yung nasa lupa, nakikita natin yung mga cell towers na usually nakikita natin, but there are now, usong-uso na ngayon yung space-based technologies which provides data communication and uplink. And this has proven useful, no? Nakikita natin ngayon currently with the war between Russia and Ukraine. So the use of satellites, ito yung tinatawag nating space-based ICT technologies, is provided useful, no, kahit down na yung mga terrestrial, yung mga land-based communication systems, na they're still able to um, get data, no, nakakakuha sila ng real-time data by use of satellites, of course through the help of other countries which provides this, di ba? Si Starlink, of course, provides this resources for them. So sharing of resources, particularly to your friends, is beneficial to everyone except for your enemies, in this case a war, no? But okay, next is ato. I've shown you this slide to show ating um, views of our legislators, particularly in the Senate. No? According to Senator Win Gatchalian, telecommunication companies in the provinces reveal they can only provide 2 Mbps up to 20 Mbps of internet speed. So this is way below the average for live events. No? So the minimum speed for streaming video is at least 3 Mbps. And of course, according to Senator Bam Aquino previews, let's work together to achieve our goal for faster, cheaper, more reliable internet services. So mostly our view is also on faster internet speed. Mas mabilis yung internet natin, mas mabuti, mas mahusay yung mga serbisyo natin. But in order to provide a widening or to prevent widening of the digital divide. Yung digital divide, it means this is the gap between the ICT and regional access to information and communication technology, no? Para ma-prevent natin yung paglaki ng gap, no? Or pag-widen ng digital divide, it is important, or it is essential to emphasize the importance of prioritizing coverage first before the speed, no? Paano kung ang bilis-bilis nga ng internet mo, but limited, may mga white areas ka. There are areas in which you cannot provide internet service. So we still have to prioritize coverage over speed. However, our government our government, no, issued policies, and of course private companies have to comply with the government, no, particularly yung bare minimum speed, which requires each broadband user's connection, no, speed mas mabilis dapat, and the networks needs to be updated, and of course this entails a lot of resources. But I guess through competency also that may pumasok na third telco network, we were able to bring down the cost and actually increase the speed. They did not bring down the cost, that they just increased or upgraded the network and upgraded our speeds for internet, which is good for everyone. But still, there are some areas where hindi pa rin, wala pa ring access ng internet, and even though walang access ng telecommunication services, no? So next is the next possible intervention is provide neutral passive infrastructure. As we can see in this slide, no, the opening the rollout of passive infrastructure to neutral parties will be beneficial because this allows faster progress and will enable competitive pricing of infrastructure. No? The cost of deployment can be optimized to their maximum potential, and passive infrastructure providers are forced to contend with, particularly in nations where state-owned operators are the only providers, except here in the Philippines. No, most of our network providers are private, privately owned. Okay, and next strategy is the community collaboration and deployments. I've used the example here in our province, so sa Quirino province. This was from the land bank as COVID-19 recovery loans for LGUs hit 113 billion. So land bank funds free public Wi-Fi public Wi-Fi in Quirino province. No, so this is the initiative of our governor. Of course, this has been problem for our province, yung internet connectivity and pagkakaroon ng good internet connectivity, particularly in the universal healthcare setting. No? Kaya na-push forward ito. The participation of private players is crucial towards increasing the number of people who have access to the internet. So in this program in Quirino province, Land Bank ang nag-provide ng funds or nag-loan ang Quirino province, and through partnership with I think this is PLDT, no? And in collaboration also with DICT, no? The government Quirino province funded yung pagpapatayo ng mga maraming cell sites actually, and the network equipments for free public Wi-Fi, no? So may mga, though hindi lahat ng province though hindi lahat ito ng area, key points ang mga inuna nila. Ano yung mga unang binigyan ng ganyan free public Wi-Fi access here? Schools, gymnasiums, municipalities, parks, no? Yung mga major areas ng mga yan yung mga inuna muna nilang lagyan. Okay? So they should be willing to deploy in the networks. Of course, PLDT doon nagkaroon sila ng hindrances. Nakita naman nila yung viability, and through the support of the government actually, they were willing to fund this project, and nasa ano na po yata sila ngayon. Awaiting na lang kami ng pag-operate noong free public Wi-Fi because equipments have already been installed, no? So inaantay na lang namin yung bandwidth na mailagay. Yun yung description nila, no? So, this way, with the support of the government, may suporta yung gobyerno, the operator's expenses are reduced. So, hindi na nila kailangan silang maglagay. It's actually funded by government. So, this results to greater participation and faster deployment. And of course, yung maintenance also ng network, may pondo yun. So, it also being shouldered by the provincial government of Quirino Province. So, this one. Okay, and next we go to key issues. What are the key issues in the ICT here in the Philippines? So, one, reliable and sustainable energy. No, a sustainable and reliable energy is an absolute necessity to implement energy solutions that are dependable and environmentally friendly to satisfy the need for developing ICT infrastructure. No? Oh, sorry, hindi ko malaw. ICT infrastructure. So for example, yung power businesses can be encouraged to employ renewable energy sources such as solar and give power to community by means of attractive laws and incentives. Like for example, what Globe has been doing. No? So Globe pilots hybrid power alternative sources for cell towers. in off-grid and bad grid sites. So there are areas here in the Philippines where our power hindi stable, no? Lalo ngayon, tag-init, nagre-red warning. So magkakaroon talaga ng brownouts. And paano na pag emergencies? You need telecommunication. So um, the Globe company has established yung kanilang mga cell sites to be using alternative sources of power, no? Photovoltaics, I forgot the technology using is photovoltaic, but anyways, they're just using solar panels, no? And they use this in combination with other sources para naman ma-mitigate yung kakulangan ng kuryente, particularly dun sa mga off-grid, yung mga wala talagang kuryente na areas, and of course bad grid sites, no? Doon mayroong kuryente pero parating nagbabagyo, parating nasisira kadalasan yung mga wires of sources of power. So ginamit nila yung alternative sources for their cell towers to provide 24/7 signal, no? Para meron tayong nagagamit for telecommunication services. Okay? So, issue here, energy availability, no? Because there are low rates of electrification, and this is still a problem here in the Philippines, and it affects many developing countries like us, no? Microgrid is an important plays an important role, particularly in energy generation. So a microgrid is a local energy grid with control capability, no? They are capable of operating on their own to generate electricity and supply this to far-flung areas. So for example, nakita natin ito dito sa potential Metro Cebu, no? Microgrid system. They use several sources of energy. One is oil, gas generation to diesel generators. Mayroong wind energy, and of course they use solar energy, no? Photovoltaic system. Tapos may nagko-control diyan dan sa power system na yan. And of course, they use energy storage, and they distribute this through households, industries, commercial, residential areas, and other public services, no? But ayun nga, there's a meme here, magtayo-tayo ka ng windmill, paano kung walang hangin? Tatayo ka ng solar, paano kung walang araw? And anyways, I want to emphasize is micro energy grids are really useful, particularly in areas na hindi kayang abutin ng power or energy, no? So their role in addressing key issue in energy availability is really important, no? And this entails cost. This is costly, but it helps, no? Particularly in sustainable development, climate change adaptation, no? Kasi gumagamit sila ng um, renewable sources of energy, no? Okay. So the Republic of the Philippines, because we are an archipelago and made up of 7,461 islands, our nation proves to be a challenge, no? Particularly in electrification. So when it comes to connecting yung grids natin, no, kakaroon pa rin tayo ng problem, particularly in remote areas. And currently, nearly 4 million Filipino households are deemed either underserved or unserved by the nation's power infrastructure, mostly in GIDA areas, no, geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. And according to the Department of Energy, more than 1.2 million households are unserved or in locations with no electricity access, no, including access to distribution lines, individual home systems, or a connection to a microgrid. Kaya importante yung mga microgrid. And of course, the appearance of yung mga ELCO, mga electric cooperatives, no? Usually from electric cooperatives, aside from distribution, there are electric cooperatives who are able to generate their own power, of course, through the microgrid system, no? So next issue is some use of multiple technologies. Which one is better? Which one is more stable? Which one is not? No. So dependence on costly and conventional technology has been a primary obstacle in the Philippines, no, in expanding the coverage of high-speed connectivity. Of course, this is across a variety of geographical locations. So hindi pare-parehas kasi some may be using 5G technology, some may be still be using 4G technology. May areas pa na naka 3G or Sadly, yung iba siguro may edge pa, no? But it comes to fiber internet, no? Mostly naman meron na. But according to the survey, no, only 19% says that it's the only available in their area, no? Konti lang. Konti pa lang yung merong access, no? But this is changing because this is coming from a 2018 data, and 2018 and 2024 has proven to be a leap of time, no? Marami ng changes, no? Implementation of these kinds of technologies require significant amount of time and financial investment. But these are game changers. These are game changing technologies which has the potential to become critical enablers, particularly in regions of the world like the Philippines, no, where expanding connectivity to difficult to reach area remains logistically and financially unviable. Okay. Next, ano bang mas appropriate na or choosing the most effective technological interventions? Although last mile mobile and fiber networks will continue to be the basis of information and communication technology, network development, space-based technologies are increasingly considered to be part of the mainstream, no? So particularly now, yung ating broadband communications, so na-introduce yung Starlink. So broadband communication through satellite is quickly becoming one of the most important enabling technologies for delivering connection and internet services. And you compare the price of procuring this equipment as to paying monthly service fee through an internet service provider, lalo na kung for example naka high speed plan ka, plan 2,000 monthly, and you translate that for a year, that's already 24,000. So kung bumili ka ng Starlink, siguro meron ng refurbished equipments, can go as low 14,000, saka nakabili ka na ng dalawang Starlink. But again, choosing the most effective technological intervention for you, puwedeng magkakaiba. Puwedeng hindi effective sa'yo yung Starlink kasi hindi natin alam, mahina ang reception ni Starlink in your area, or you are using a lot of maraming users na gumagamit ng internet, and Starlink, I believe, is only limited to 10 users at a time. Otherwise, madi-disrupt yung connection niya, no? As compared to using a conventional PLDT fiber, for example, fiber internet services for your home or for your office, no, which is more stable, no? Yun nga, it depends. So choose the most effective technological intervention, and this is on a case-to-case basis, no? Next issue is the spectrum availability and management, and some of the most significant difficulties associated with spectrum management is one, yung reserve prices may be well above market valuation, masyadong mahal, no? Or there's scarcity and unclear policy on spectrum availability, and awarding mechanism being too lengthy, complicated, or inappropriate, no? Particularly for private service providers, no? And so for the possible interventions and to address this is the distribution of frequencies. So allocate sufficient amount of IHMS or internationally harmonized spectrum for IMT. Ensure that there's a balance of allocations between license exempt, and satellite IMTs, no? And working through the ITU radio communication to ensure appropriate rules to mitigate interference while minimizing constraints on deployment services. Next is the availability of adequate infrastructure to provide meaningful connectivity. And because there's still a large portion of the population which remains unserved by the ICT infrastructure. Look at this po na data na nakuha natin from OpenSignal, and this is currently uh, by the year 2022, and comparing the networks here in the Philippines, Dito, Globe, and Smart, as to availability and percent of time, would you believe that Dito is the winner, no? As to network availability at 98.4%. Pumapangalawa si Smart, and pangatlo si Globe. But in terms of connectivity, how fast can you go for 5G technology and 5G availability? Smart is leading in this statistic. No, for the 4G coverage experience, no, we can still see that Smart is leading Globe by zero point 0.3 margin, no, but this is 0 to 10 points. And according to the 2019 National ICT Household Survey, the top three reasons for Filipino households not having their own internet connection are: one, masyado daw mahal, high cost of internet subscription; two, high cost of equipment; and lastly, unavailability of internet service in their area. But I guess since this is 2022 data, the availability is nandiyan na, no? The network availability is there. It only matters, no, which one do you prefer according to your case. Baka malakas si Smart sa iyo kaya pinipili mo si Smart, or wala naman si Smart. Though sabi dito, 5G availability is Smart ang nangunguna pero walang 5G dun sa area nyo. So, depende which works for us, no? Okay. So, what are the potential interventions for this? Of course, policy, legal, and regulatory measures, no? Dapat nare-regulate yung mga telcos. Establish public and private partnerships, which the Philippine government is doing mostly for its ICT infrastructure. And cloudification, yung data natin. Usually, ang storage natin, itinatanggal na natin from physical storage warehouses in which you house them. You need more power for these equipments, housing these equipments, and you just cloudify, no? Cloud system na tayo or cloud-based system na tayo. But as a summary, this requires governance, no? Ito yung sinasabi natin. Governance plays a key role in all this intervention. Okay? So, okay, an overview of the landscape in the Philippines. So, as to mobile connectivity, digital payments and commerce, since very Filipinos, most of us do have mobile phones. Mobile phones are now accessible. Medyo cheap na siya ngayon, no, because a lot of competitors, no, na sa pagdating sa commerce natin. And since mobile internet has emerged as a key method for gaining access to various online services, information, various products or services, even messaging systems, no. These several platforms were developed to meet the demands of the Filipinos. So napakita na ito doon sa report kanina ni Ma'am Angelique Makatangay, no? Napahapyawan niya yung mga various systems, platforms that were used to develop, no, for these services. Just a disclaimer po, no, brands and product logos used in this presentation are for education purposes. No, hindi pa ko binayaran for advertisement or sponsor or monetary gains. Next, for e-government initiatives, our government, no? Ako natuwa ako dito. I hope everyone downloaded the eGov app in their phones, no? This is an integrated system, no? Deployed by our government. So nandyan, sana ma-explore po ninyo, no, sa mga wala pa. So gusto mong i-check yung GSIS mo, gusto mong i-check yung PhilHealth mo, you want to see different services by the government, no, it's here, and these are developed. The government developed web portals and digital platform for government services. For this is of ito yung sinasabi natin, no, improving public service delivery. So I hope everyone tries and download this. Okay. Yeah. And next, yan, sa BPO industry in the Philippines, being one of the leading BPO industries in Southeast Asia, not just in Southeast Asia, but I guess in the whole world, no, because Filipinos are well known for highly qualified and English-speaking population. But recently, no, sa mga news na babasa natin, though it's really sad, no, that we are been the leading BPO industry for how many years, no? Yung reading, quality of education among our youth is declining. I don't know, but if that would have a long-term effect probably in the BPO industry in the Philippines. But anyways, Philippines are very well known to be highly qualified because we adapt, no? Probably because of our language, madali daw tayong maka-adapt ng other foreign languages, no? Making Filipinos learn easier foreign languages. Learning by doing. Okay, so the Philippines has been ever since popular for foreign businesses that outsource a variety of services, customer support, no, back office operations, IT services, and then that's BPO industry actually, no, even human resources. Who provides ICT services and technologies? Usually maraming Filipinos yan. Ang daming Filipinos in Singapore because of Singapore is an IT hub in the world. No, there are a lot of Filipinos working in BPO industries and ICT industries there. Okay. Next are startups and innovations. In the recent years, the number of technology companies and innovation hubs in the Philippines have increased. No, and Metro Manila and Metro Cebu have emerged as hubs for entrepreneurial endeavors, contributing to the growth of a thriving environment. So here, may pinakita kong slide. QBO is a private company which recognizes top 100 startup businesses, ICTs here in the Philippines, and they showcased yung mga industries which represents ICT startups, innovations in ICT technologies. Particularly, these are includes one agriculture. There's artificial intelligence, automotive, or sa mga cars. No, there's also blockchain and cryptocurrency. No, climate sustainability. There are companies which has startups or innovations as to climate and climate sustainability, construction technologies and real estate, creator economy, education, energy, enterprise solutions, entertainment, gaming, esports, finance, food hospitality, healthcare. So overall, malami pong applications na and benefits ang ICT as to startups and innovations, even travel and tourism. No, some of these samples have been presented a while ago. Yung mga e-travel system, no, logistics and supply chain, particularly in healthcare. Kami dati mano-mano yung pag-inventory namin. Now the DOH deployed an online management and inventory system. Kapag nagbibigay sila ng supply sa amin, online na yan. So nakikita namin kapag may ibababa sa amin na supplies at kung kulang na kami sa supplies, nakikita din yan ni DOH through the regional offices na coordination. So those are some few examples, no? Next are IT parks and economic zones. Ang pinakamaganda siguro is I don't know, Uptown. For me, it's Uptown in Bonifacio Global City, no? And IT parks and economic zones here in the Philippines, though marami, no? And actually, this is being overseen by PESA, and they approve the application for IT parks and IT centers. There are a lot of, you can access this kung ano yung mga ito, but generally, these are centers of businesses or hubs, no, which provide information and technology, ICT services, no, whether this be BPO or infrastructure, no. So yan po. And ICT policies here in the Philippines, some have already been mentioned a while ago. So just a brief na lang the discussion. So we do have the National Connectivity and Broadband Development Plan. Now, this selected international studies have correlated broadband penetration to a country's economic development. And similarly, the right to access a fast, reliable, and secure internet is now recognized by different countries as an effective driver of equity and participation. So the ICTO is preparing a plan. So this plan is to ensure that all Filipinos will reap the benefits of universally accessible broadband through different policy instruments and interventions. Next is the Philippine Digital Strategy Implementation Plan. The PDS is the national roadmap for ICT for the period 2011 to 2016. And I guess may ina-update na po ito, no, kasi outdated, no? And the Cybersecurity and Data Privacy Act, particularly RA 10173, no? With the impending, the ICTO continues to provide technical support in support of their implementing rules and popular advocacy towards embedding cybersecurity and data protection in all areas of its network. Next is the ICT procurement standards, no? After developing the ICT procurement manual and bidding documents, the ICTO is now advocating the approval from the GPPB, no, and their full adoption by all government agencies. When government procures, no, kahit simpleng bond paper yan, kahit simpleng um, pen, probably dumadaan yan sa government procurement, no. So through the ICT procurement standards, this needs to be posted using PhilJeps, no. So importante yan ngayon. This ICT procurement standards through the use of PhilJeps actually provides transparency in government procurement processes. So nakikita mo dyan, may mga nahuhuli na nag-overprice, no? Well, anyways, this proven to be a hindrance, no, for corruption. So anti-corruption practices nito. Digital media, digital TV migration, no? There's also ICT standardization, no? To assist products of ICT and ICT related processes together with the DTI and BPS, or Bureau of Product Standards, towards the promulgation and the promotion of Philippine national ICT standards. And lastly, the Philippine ICT Statistics Portal, which is the gateway to government approved ICT related statistics, no, particularly regularly compiled and updated to facilitate the analysis and deployment of ICT related policies, which contributes to national competitiveness. And of course, the last part of this report is an overview of the internet penetration and accessibility here in the Philippines. And as of 2023, um, the Philippines has 58.9% of internet penetration, and this there is increase, no, of internet use, which is partially attributed to the proliferation of smartphones, accessibility of smartphones, no. At ayon po ito kay Carl Balita on a study 2024 internet penetration in the Philippines, and we can see here in this, and this is projected, no, to increase up to 2029 as high as 77.56%, no. And looking through the internet accessibility in figure 1, no, which shows the access to, speed of, and cost of fixed and mobile broadband in ASEAN countries. Here in the Philippines, the result here is the access to the internet is low, no, according to this study. Ang access natin sa internet ay mababa, pero napakataas ng cost ng internet. So the Philippines is an outlier, as you can see here with the different countries, no, and ASEA, no, Southeast Asian nations. The Philippines is an outlier because as of 2022, just 33% of households had access to fixed broadband, and just 70% of the population had an active mobile broadband subscription. So, and you can see the cost of internet in other areas, no? Like here, for example, in Singapore, leading number one, ang access nila by percent household and as to geography is 111%. The speed is also very high, but the cost is about 0.6% of the household per capita income, no? As compared to the Philippines, ang baba-baba 33, pero ang cost is 11.3, no? Next to Myanmar, no? So this is ano ba to? Inversely proportional. Mababa ang access pero mataas ang cost. Dapat baliktad, no? Anyways, that just proves that the Philippines has far to go, no, as to its ICT na implementation and technology. So, of course, we have government initiatives. Nabanggit na po yan kanina. Ano mga government initiatives natin? Of course, the DICT was recently awarded for its champion projects for the 3 programs, no, in the ongoing World Summit in the Information Society Forum in Geneva, Switzerland. So, we have the digital governance, no, for this recognized the LGU's best practices and best practices in ICT, and we have also program on cybersecurity competency framework when we provide the capacity development activities to our stakeholders. And lastly, this one, Tech for Ed Center launching, no, in cooperation with the BJMP, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. So dito na-feature ang Carmona Municipal Jail for telecommunication services yata ito using their dalaws, no? E-dalaw. Okay? And of course, the Philippines reaped its efforts through a recognition of the program in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay? And doon nabanggit na din kanina ito na discuss in depth the challenges and opportunities in the ICT infrastructure in the Philippines. So looking through some of the challenges, financial constraint, no? I think this is the number one talaga. Without money, you cannot move forward. Even in healthcare, no? In initiating programs, development programs without money, it's really hard to move programs. Mahirap gumalaw ng walang budget, no? And geographic barriers, hindi mo naman pwedeng ilapit yung bundok or tapyasin yung bundok kasi hindi siya maabot ng signal ng current towers, no? Of course, digital divide and cybersecurity and privacy concerns still remains a problem here in the Philippines. Alam naman yung mga recent news, hacking with PhilHealth database, no? Of course, there's recent hacking, yung DDoS, no? Attacks of our servers from sabi nila sa ibang bansa, no? But anyways, this happens and cybersecurity still remains a problem here in the Philippines. And regulatory hurdles because of outdated um, standard operating procedures, laws, and regulations. And of course, for opportunities, there's always an opportunity, no? There's always there's always a light behind darkness, no? So there's room for economic growth and development, employment also, no, for improving ICT, enhanced public services. Of course, na ano naman natin yan na kahit papaano, nag-i-improve naman yung ating mga public services. Improved education and the skills development, particularly in capacitating our human resources in various sectors of the government. Digital inclusion, no? Bata, matanda, no? Everyone, no? And social development, particularly in stakeholder engagement, which was discussed thoroughly again kanina, no? Innovations and researches, particularly for me for data analytics, no? When we formulate plans and employ data analytics for evidence-based decision making and skills, that is particularly useful, no? Smart cities and IoT applications, and lastly, e-commerce and digital business, and which were discussed in depth in the previous topics, no? And that's my last slide for this presentation. So agyaman na kapo, iti oras nga naipaayo amin. So thank you very much and good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon, Ilocano, sir. Okay, so again, as what our presenter mentioned, no, the Philippines has made significant strides, no, in improving internet connectivity, but the challenges remain, no, particularly in rural and remote areas. Major telecommunication companies such as PLDT, sabi nga ni Sir, Globe, Telecom, and Converge, ICT had been expanding their fiber optic networks to provide high-speed broadband internet access to more areas across the country. Mobile phone penetration is high in the Philippines, with mobile devices serving as the primary means of accessing the internet for any Filipinos. No, mobile network operations offer 5G nga na, no? 4G and 5G mobile services in urban centers, no? And major cities, although coverage may be limited in the rural areas, no? So the Philippine government launched the National Broadband Plan, no, to accessible the deployment of broadband infrastructure and improve internet connectivity nationwide, no? I'm happy that our presenter actually do know his part to research on more information related to his topic, no? And appreciate it much, no? The government free Wi-Fi for all programs, no, meron tayong ganito, and established, no, the Philippines has established information technology parks, economic zone, and innovation hubs, no, to promote ICT development and attract investment in the sector. No, notable ICT hubs include the Cebu IT Park, the UP Ayala Land Techno Hub in Quezon City, and the Davao IT Park. The Philippines is connected also to international internet networks through several submarine cable systems, no, including the Asia America Gateway, South Asia United States, and the Asia Pacific Gateway cables. No, these submarine cables provide vital connectivity linked to support international telecommunication and internet traffic. The Department of Information and Communication Technology leads government efforts to improve ICT infrastructure and connectivity because the DICT is responsible for implementing programs and policies aimed at promoting ICT development, enhancing cybersecurity, and bridging the digital divide. While progress has been made in improving ICT infrastructure and connectivity in the Philippines, challenges such as geographical barriers, siyempre, meron tayong regulatory constraint and funding limitation persist. No? Continued investment is in broadband infrastructure, spectrum management, and digital literacy program will be vital, no, to furthering the country's ICT development goals in supporting its transition to a digital economy. So thank you so much to our presenter.